you so much for joining us today. I'm Fran, the founder of CineGirl and editor-in-chief, and this is the first edition of the CineGirl International Cinematography Panel. Woohoo! Yeah. Cine Expo and Cinematography World, so this is the first of many more to come. Today's panel and session is with some incredible guests, which very shortly they will be introducing themselves. And they will come from some really interesting creative backgrounds. And we really want to just have a discussion about, career choices, lifestyle, tips, and share experiences, and just in general to have a bit of a chat. Because I think post-pandemic, am I far away? Oh, there you go. Is this better? Okay, yeah. To come together, because I think post-pandemic there is a much need to just get together again and talk and share our experiences and and get back out there, which I know we're already doing. We're all quite busy, so we're very lucky to have such amazing guests that they can join us today. So let's start with our first guest, Sanne Kurtz, and she's from. Sorry, I already got it wrong.
We just met.
Sorry,
we just met.
Sanne Kurtz, Christina Novak, at the back.
Hi.
Carla Mirezen, Brita Mangold, Bibi Dirkin,
Yes,
and Babette Ponish. I said
there's
it right.
a lot of difficult names today.
Yes,
You're doing
a lot.
great.
So I think it would be really good if maybe we start from you, Christina, just giving us a little bit of an intro about yourself, what you do, and why you chose this industry.
Okay, all right. So I'll start with a bit about me. So I work in film and TV, obviously. I started off actually looking after kind of profile work for videographers and photographers, and then that moved to working at Red Digital Cinema to help them with cinematographers and production. And over the years, I've done different roles in VFX, in film, and it's all pretty much to do with helping tell the story, looking after those relationships, ensuring they're secure and not influenced by a sales or marketing. And I'm now currently a director of virtual production for a technology systems integrator, so LED volume sets, and as well as being a CineGirl ambassador, which is a cause I'm really passionate and proud about, so thank you for coming. I'm also one of the first women to be on the board of the Society of Motion Picture Engineers, and part of my campaign and my kind of ethos is to bring more equality, more women into it, different cultures, and also more creative tech, rather than just engineering or other dominated themes in the industry.
Thank you. Sanne, do you want to go next?
Yeah, hi, welcome, good morning, and thanks for having me here. My name is Sanne Kurtz, and I'm always introducing myself as a filmmaker turned politician because I'm right now not shooting, because 2018 I got elected into the Bavarian Parliament, where I'm responsible for arts, culture, and film policies. Wow. Yeah. Which is in Bavaria quite important because we have one of the biggest film industry hubs in Germany, together with Berlin and Cologne. And interesting enough, in all this money that's poured in, it's 46 million each year, there is still today no standard in terms of who gets that money. Okay. And women are half of the population, and there's no standard as of half that money should perhaps go to women. In terms of what I did as a cinematographer, I shot a lot of documentary movies. I have 4 children, so the oldest is 26, the youngest is 4, so I kind of encountered the entire span of like 26 years of change or not change, of how to actually have also a family-friendly work. I shot a lot abroad. I lived a long time in Australia. I worked a lot in Israel as a documentary filmmaker. You're traveling. I did very, very little commercial work. And kind of like every year, every 2 years, a cinema feature. And it's in my bubble called cinema when there's no TV station paying you properly.
Thank you. Carla?
Yeah, hey, my name is Carla. I'm a cinematographer. I started in the art, like art. It's not industry, but I came from art. I went to art school and went into film because I found out things can be told in very different and emotional and direct ways more than in art. Like, that's my opinion. So I changed into the film, and I wanted to be like the person who is working with the visuals. And I'm very driven by stories, by characters. I've been doing a lot of documentary on very like tough and serious topics with traumatized people. I've been working a lot with traumatized people. And for me, the film or movies are able to share experience with people who maybe are not able to make these experiences themselves or directly. Yeah, so that's my background.
Thank you. Britta.
I'm Britta Mangold. I'm probably the oldest of all of them here, and I started my career at Array in the rental house as the first female intern. They didn't even have a ladies' toilet when I started there, so I had to use the men's toilet. And I'm shooting commercials most of the time. I just finished a feature film, but normally I shoot commercials, and it's even more rare that female DPs work in commercial business than in documentaries. There are more female, but in the commercial it's only, in Germany it's only 2 women DPs in that business. Yeah.
Thank you. You.
Hi, I'm Bibi. I'm a cinematographer as well, and I'm doing this for, I'm in camera for 30 years. I've never done anything else.
Me too.
So, and that's it.
Yes. Well, you're also CineGirl ambassador as well. Another one.
Yes. I am. Yeah, we know each other from London.
Yes. But yeah, thank you. But
hello, thank you. Thank you for the invitation. And my name is Babette Pönisch. I'm work as standby props since 1997. And I'm also, I do feature films mostly. I did some commercials, but then once you find your heart in feature films, you just kind of stay there. I like the way of being with a team for like 6, 7, 8 weeks or longer and develop a project. I'm also board member of the VDRSD. This is, we represent all occupational groups in art department. We have members like set dressers, set decorators, everyone that's in art department amongst the art director is coming into our association, and I'm interested in, since 5 or 6 years, we really push how do you say, the lack of people coming into our business and how people could get into our business, how people could start a job at film. And there's now, since 1 month, we have formed, Stephanie Beaker is also the board member, and me at the moment, we're 2 guys, 2 girls and ladies in the board, with a few, with the BVK and loads of other associations. We now made the In-Film Initiative Film, which brings, the project is to bring people into proper ways of schooling, like even the vision is to go, to have a school or a university way to bring all these people into jobs. That's it.
really interesting, yeah. Thank you so
Fran,
much.
I actually completely dismissed I think you did too. We didn't actually say why we're working in the industry, which I think is equally
Yes, no,
important,
of course,
especially
yes,
after your speech, which kind of brought a tear to my eye. So I'll make it quick, but for me, I'd love to hear everyone else's story as well, but I just found the industry so welcoming. I found my tribe, if you like, and I feel, for me, the passion behind like the community and also the birthing and creating a message and a vision and a story is actually a very precious thing. And not only is it an outlet of many expressions, but it's also creating history. So for me, it was a very kind of sacred place to be in, somewhere I knew I could always have integral values.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm in it for the long haul, even with the long hours.
Yeah, I think, well, thank you for sharing that, but I think it rolls into, quite well into the question which I had, which was what it takes to work in the industry. And I know it's a very complex industry, you can see already from the reactions, and I know with some of you already had some discussions, and I think it's, a mix bag of lots of personal skills, emotions, lots of many reasons, but I'd love to hear what you think it takes to work in the industry and why you're,
A lot of passion.
A lot of passion.
That's the first thing. What I really like about the industry is that you're never doing the same thing twice. You're just even when you're shooting like 3 toothpaste commercials, every toothpaste commercial is different.
It's different, yeah.
It never gets boring.
I like that.
It's
Is it also for you?
It's a different location, it's a different story, and you don't want to do the same thing again and again anyway. So it's
You always meet new people.
Yeah.
You always have a different crew.
It's
So
never
that's, of
boring.
course,
It's-
really nice.
With all its...
Yeah.
And it's creative.
It
of
takes a
course.
lot, yeah. It takes a long breath, that's for sure.
What about you, Carla?
I have no idea what it takes to work in the industry, to be honest, but I feel everyone brings something, like some quality, some idea, some perspectives on like different topics in our society. And what I feel like, or what I observe, because I've been doing so much documentary, that a lot of those views or voices, they are just like, and they fall off the table,
Yes, literally.
So the industry is something I feel which lacks diversity and which lacks, like there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of like struggling with money, and you want to have the same all the time. You want to have the same people, you want to have the same, like to be able to trust in what you get. And I think that's okay, but we miss the diversity because of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it takes. Maybe it takes, on one hand, it takes to be like what the industry wants you to be, or behave, or to act, or whatever. But I think we are much more, and there's a lot of qualities which fall off the table if we have it too narrow, if there's too much fear, if we don't want to share perspectives. Yeah.
Babette, did you want to share something? Or?
I was just thinking, it's interesting, like we have two totally different, not totally, but we have different views, like you say it's still something to do, you saying the same, but you know what I mean, it's so interesting, this is why it's so good that we do this here and start this. I also think like it takes a lot of passion, and sometimes you think, why am I doing this? But at the other day, you never do the same. Like Britta said, it's always, even after 25 years, you have the situation you never had before on set, and it's very interesting. But still, I'm agreeing. It gets harder. It's sort of like in feature films, especially in Germany. It seems like a lot of criminal stories going on, a lot of the same things, because other people decide what we can do. But you can find those people you like working with, and you
can choose. So I guess one of the other questions is, because I always get asked about, of course with CineGirl, our ethos is really to champion talent in film and TV industry. We're female focused, but not exclusive. And we always talk about change, and I think, well, my view is depends who you ask. They will give you a different answer about change. What do you think about change? What can you say about the industry and your role, and just in general, any thoughts that maybe you've, gathered throughout?
Well, we just had a little talk about that earlier on the table. I'm sure you're referring to that. Because I think not a lot has changed. Okay. I don't think a lot has changed. I mean, I started, like Britta, we are the Cine grannies.
Cine grannies.
And we have definitely battled and, bitten our way through it. This is not a path where people, they don't lay it out for you. They say, oh yeah, please come and join.
And so when mentors as well.
No mentors. So when we both started, she was from Munich, I was in Hamburg, and there were like 5, I think, something like this, 5 women.
If at all, yeah.
And so she started in Ari, I started in CineLicht or CineGate at that time, I don't even know what it was called, and the same thing, So I've forgotten your question.
Well, just change. What you think? Change.
No change.
Change, yeah, no change.
change.
So I think for us, it's been, because we have bitten our way through it, kind of, or battled our way through it, we are where we are now. But I think if I see now all these young girls, coming from
Well, I was
school
going to ask, like, maybe there is a favoritism towards a specific age group now to help them get into the industry. Do we
Say
think,
again?
like, do you think then there is more support out there for younger women who are just starting out?
I think it's maybe easier it's more accessible to study it or to learn it. That doesn't necessarily mean you work in the industry, So there are a lot of them, starting off, and they're all cinematographers. We also had that little talk, because then they come out of school after 2 years, and you're not a cinematographer then. Yes, you have this written somewhere, but that doesn't mean you know how to work on a set. You don't know the gear. You don't know how to talk to people, producers, It's endless. So you're pretty helpless because you haven't worked your way up. Well, we had the chance to see all this from on the second row, so to say. So you see what can happen. So, and because of that, I think it's very difficult. I don't think I don't feel the change that much. I mean, from what I see, I know that there's a lot of women, want to come in the industry, but they are not in the position where they have a say. I always think as long as they serve the coffee, everybody's fine, So if you're the assistant or somewhere down the line, it's all cool. And I don't want to be depressive or negative about it. It's just the way I see it from the, from...
I think it's like in all the industries.
Yeah.
It gets tough at the top. I
Yeah.
mean, the higher you get, the thinner...
Yes, yeah.
What area?
And less women at the top. That's another thing. I mean, you have to be a manager if you're DP. You're not only
it's not only talent.
No, it's not only.
There's so much more.
You're managing a big team, and you're managing a schedule, and I mean, it's a tough job. It's not only creative. I mean, you're talking about feature films.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree, and there is some change because there has been in the last years an awareness, at least.
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
Perhaps women should be playing some role because they're half the population. And so what you're saying that like there's quite a lot of younger women that are coming in and stuff. So there's 2 things happening. One thing is, I'm talking about Germany now, there's an awareness also within the DP community that they should bond, they should form networks. So the Cinematografinnen have been founded, and I can just recommend everybody to join them because they're doing excellent network work. They have lists with focus pullers, female, with grips, gaffers, female, so that they help other women also to enter the industry, also assistants and second assistant roles. So they have a network of helping other females to enter the industry, to support each other. They're like sending around jobs when someone hears of it and can't do it themselves. So it's not only, who are my friends that I had beer with last week, but it's like, actually, I know this network and it's all females who have the same struggle that I have, and they're mailing this out. But that's coming from a younger group. So there is not only, as everywhere, on the top, very, very little space for women, because also, obviously, people who have a piece of the cake don't like to share so much. There's also quite some age discrimination happening. And that kind of may be a problem. And then last not least, what you said. So I agree that like I always met new people, but at the same time, of course, you always have your like 2, 3, 4 people that you have long-term artistic relationships with, and of course they fall back on you. And so that also is an obstacle in terms of like change, not change. Like it's a difficult one. There has been some change, but it's still a long road to go, I think. And I think also some structures need to change. If you like,
Yeah.
for example, if you do like care work, your mother is sick and you need to look after her, and all your brothers don't want to do it. Or if you like are young and you do want a family or something, you know.
Yeah. So in fact,
Actually, sorry, Fran,
yeah,
to that
sure, yeah.
point, I don't disagree with anybody here. And to play devil's advocate, I'd like to think the awareness is like a baby step of an initial sign to change, but we're a long way off. We might be a decade off. But one thing that really kind of, one thing that came up at a last CineGirl club event that we did were some mothers in film. And they were saying about, for years they struggled, they came in and out the industry because of those struggles, but now they have got to the point where the demand for work is so great, they can now dictate their hours and they job share. And I actually never thought I'd see that in my lifetime. So I think there needs to be lots more done in terms of creches on site, the job sharing, accessibility at different ages, everything. But that really gave me hope that actually if you stay strong and passionate and tenacious,
Yeah.
then change will come.
Absolutely. I think that's a really good point. Thank you for sharing that. I think just having chats with you before, we were talking about how to address the lack of specialists in the industry and training people up. And I think that is also a big issue. Like, how do you upskill?
It's a huge issue, I think, in Germany.
I think everywhere. I think even in the UK, it's just, you know, especially now when it's very busy.
Pushed back because in Germany there's such a lack. It all came with the introduction of some compulsory minimum fee that you have to pay, and we had here like decades of a system where you entered a job by being a free volunteer for some years, and then you became the second assistant, first assistant. So in all departments, that was the way to learn a job, on the job, the training. And since we introduced this minimum salary, which is basically a good idea to have that, what followed was that there was no such thing as an apprenticeship or on-the-job training where you didn't need to pay that. And so we're looking now at like, I think 8 or 9 years of nobody growing into the industry. So we have now, I'm not sure about the commercial sector, but I know from... It's the same, yeah. In the industry, we have now such a lack of people that, like, the states who are compulsory for like film industry, the separate German states, they're all starting industry programs from the government funded to get people, but you can't press a button and they fall from the sky. It will take time to have them, and that's why we need the women. Okay. We can't just not have half of the workforce.
Yeah. Babette, did you want to share? Yeah.
About the change, I think change is coming, but I also agree with you. It's like you still have conversations before you start a production.
No.
You go like, would you ask the same question to a male colleague? I don't know.
Okay.
But still, things
happens today.
Yeah,
it still happens every
every
day.
job,
But
every
on
day.
the other hand, I don't want to be too pessimistic because there's a wave coming of, yes, younger ladies, people in general come in, and what they tend to forget is that it's necessary to have networks and to speak to each other. And a network is not a WhatsApp group, I'm sorry. A network is an association or a bunch of people where you are regularly, in exchange. And so this is what we are trying to push. I was never the one that said, come and organize together, but now since years in the VDRSD, I can see things developing. And about the job sharing, thank you for mentioning that. We do 4 times a year a jour fixe. It's online, it's free, everybody can take part. You're invited, the dates are on our homepage. There was a job sharing jour fixe with about 80 people listening, and after that there was a huge feedback, and now we have a job sharing email address, and we have a job sharing, okay, it's also a messenger group, a signal group, but it's over 400 people, male, females, diverse, everybody, a lot of people from all departments. Even camera departments are in there because there's now people saying it's possible to share a job, but it's a cultural way of change. That's the change that has to come. But it doesn't only come from the women. I could see that also, that there's producers that say, okay, no, we have this situation, and we have also men that stay at home with the kids, so let's think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's the German Association of Cinematographers, and they recently elected a new, what is it called?
Yeah,
Like
I was there. It was a battle.
Yeah,
there were 4 women there. It was so sad.
Okay.
Yeah, or 5 maybe. We were really battling our way there.
Yes, but I think you achieved something.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
I think they did.
The old
obviously.
government of the association, they had to go, and they're very angry, like these men who are standing in the way for a lot of changes within the association. And I think there's something that happened.
But it got more modern, not only more female.
Yeah, totally. Because the debates have been
a little bit overdue, I think.
in this association. The debates have been. I also used to be a member there, and the debates have been always about like working times, 3 hours, more money, and there have been never debates about work-life balance, teams you're working with, process-oriented work, like all these things that perhaps are we are interested in more. And I want to say something about the job sharing thing. I worked a lot in other countries, and for me, like I studied 2 years in Holland at the NFTA there, and I found that this part-time is a very German thing. And like I also worked part-time some of my life, but what I see now, getting older, that the part-time is also something. When I was young, it was great. I have a lot of free time. I can like do this and this and this, or I can have 2 jobs, both part-time, then a full-time job. But the part-time thing that in Germany is very popular, especially in Bavaria. We have in Bavaria 72% of the women doing part-time jobs, and that means that they are poor when they're old. Because it means they're getting less pensions, and often they have so little income that they're not even eligible for the basic pension fee that we fought now in Germany through. And in most other European countries, there's a system with creches or daycare. Or like when I studied in Amsterdam at the film school for 2 years, they had a creche for my oldest son that was open when we were shooting. And that's just amazing. And I really wish, same as when you're asking for allergies or vegan or whatever, when you're in catering, I wish just a paper that says, which needs do you have, you know?
Yeah.
Are you mobilely impaired, or do you like look after your old grandmother, or do you need a babysitter? Do you need, I don't know, breastfeeding breaks? Like, it would be just great if you wouldn't have to ask it yourself, but there would be just a paper where not only the food allergies would be on, but also other things be thought about.
I agree, and it really does roll on to the next question very well, because I was going to ask you all about how you manage, or do you have a work-life balance? Does it even happen in this industry?
I think work-life balance is such a difficult thing. I mean, for me, my work-life balance is that I'm on away jobs and I like it. And I like to be away from my family for a while as well. So my balance is probably a different balance to other people's balance. Because, I mean, what is a balance? I mean, first of all, I don't think that balance really works very well in that industry, because it's not a very balanced way of living, because you have a job and then you have time off. You don't have an 8 to 5 job.
Sure.
I can't think about sharing my job with somebody.
No? What do you mean? They're doing, I mean, in the UK it's quite popular now, job sharing. I mean, if you think about a series, you have more than one director or cinematographer shooting,
Well,
so
I
maybe...
don't know whether I would want that.
It's possible in the UK. It's still different.
But I can tell you, when I got my daughter 15 years ago, and I told my agent, can you maybe ask the people that I want to work more at home in Munich, and tell them that because I'm a woman, I'm a mother. And then my agent said, no, don't tell anybody that you're a mother. Don't tell anybody you have a child. They don't give you a job anymore. Oh, okay.
No way.
So that changed.
That changed. That changed. Like when I had my first one, I didn't get a phone call in 3 years because I did make the mistake to tell people.
Because they think, she's a mother now.
Yeah, exactly. And that changed now.
No, it hasn't changed so much. I talked to a director last year, I think in December, and she's a mother, and she has an agent, and the agent said, don't tell anyone.
Oh, really? No.
Yes, don't tell anyone.
I don't know, I mean the behavior after you told. So
Yeah.
with the last two, I told people, and I found, not agents, production companies, I found very supportive. Like,
They are,
especially
yes,
female-led
very.
production companies, they organize, like, I so like to be away from the family, because like tonight, before coming here, my youngest one was vomiting the entire night. I did 2 loads of laundry, changed 5 times the bed, so I love to be away,
it's
because
so
then you
nice,
don't
yeah.
have to deal with it, but it's different, you know, like
Yeah.
in the time when you're breastfeeding, you can't be away, so you need, and then you have production companies, and that didn't exist a quarter of a century ago. You have production companies who ask, how would you like it? And that's great, and I want everybody to think about it and ask about that, you know, that would be so great, you know.
Babette, what do you think?
The work-life balance.
Yeah.
Since I'm a musician as well, it's really difficult because well, I make my money with being on set and dressing and prop standby, but also I have bands, and if I tell them like I'm going to be off for 2 months and I'm there and I can't come to the rehearsals, and I sometimes then come back home for gigs, so I practice after work and then I come back home for gigs. But it's like it's waves, and it's not a stable lifestyle. And it's the same with sports or anything. I mean, you can't make an appointment at 7 at night because you don't know if you're gonna. Well, you know you're not gonna be there. So
Yeah.
it's like this. So you have to find your own way through. But sometimes I took myself out, and in my whole work life since '97, I really made a pause. But I always came back because I love it so much, and it's the way I like this. I like this work-life balance kind of thing. But getting older, I'm trying to tend more to say, okay, I have an appointment. What can we do? Can we find somebody to finish the day that I can go 2 hours earlier or something? I'm now brave enough to say that, but 20 or 15 years ago you couldn't, because then if you had said, well, there's a wedding I want to attend and I need to fly to Dublin next weekend, and I need to leave on Friday, and then there's a night shoot, and then they would go, well, then you can't do the job. Then we find somebody that is committed like 24/7, 6 weeks. So that has changed.
I do think for me it's a compromise that's our compromise for doing something we're passionate about that's different every day. Because you think people with 9-to-5 office jobs, they've got structure, but then they also have very repeatable processes, and you know. So if I have to have a crazy few months to have some like more quieter months, but to have stories and family and friends, I'll do it. But I'm not going to lie, I'm exhausted.
I think I've lived
Yeah.
my last 30 years on the film set. I don't think work-life balance is something I don't even know I don't even really know what that is. But the good thing is, I work with my husband, who sits there, he's a gaffer, so we can always, and that's perfect. So at least we're together on the film set, because otherwise I would never see him. And I think so this is my work-life balance, is that we can do the jobs together most of the time.
That's really good. Thank you.
Because otherwise it doesn't work. You never see each other.
Yeah, that's great.
It's only Zoom or phone calls or something.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions maybe from the audience that you want to
They all
ask?
fell asleep,
Anything,
probably.
everyone? No?
No questions.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think it's really interesting because I mean in the UK there's a big push now for having more families on set, and I mean in fact they also have a mobile nursery, a creche, and they've converted a double-decker bus into a nursery, and it goes on film sets, so you can have, and it's an amazing idea, which, it is possible, it's happening. So they've trialled one, and I know it went up in Wales a few months ago, because it was at the CineGirl club that they brought it up, and it worked really well. So, but also there are a lot of more production companies who are more aware of it. So I guess, I don't know, if we could just in a nice way to sort of wrap this session, sort of maybe have, go ahead.
No, I don't want to interrupt.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry. And maybe if we have, I don't know, maybe one wish for the future, something that maybe you're looking forward to, something that you think could help the industry improve, or maybe anything at all. Beeb, I'll go with you.
I would wish that men don't tell we're bossy when we know what we want. and tell everybody what we want.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That would be my wish.
Framing it.
It's very differently how we speak, like we are socialized with these, like we are socialized in a male world too, right? And I observe it's very different how we speak, like I say we, men and women, about women when they know what they want, and about men when they know what they
Exactly.
want. And it's not only in this aspect when they know what they want, but it's in many aspects.
Absolutely.
We have we are able to address men and female very differently for the same habits or the same characters, or that's something that needs to change.
Yeah, because that drives. That's actually the only thing that drives me still mad. That we judge so differently in the way of communication. Not what we do. I mean, I think nowadays everybody thinks that we can do our job.
Yeah.
But talking to each other is still difficult.
Yeah, I would wish that we are able to, like those of us in the society who wants to be first and who wants to be front, and I'm one of those too. Mm-hmm. So we want to be first and we want to be front, but that the industry is okay with us being able to be sensitive also, to being able to listen, to being like human in a way.
Yeah.
So you don't need to just kill everybody around us to be front. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it'd be, I love that, like, humanizing how we all work together for a start, you know. Don't just keep hiring the people that you've worked with who may be very male-dominated. Look outward, look at talent. Don't just also look at specific age groups. I'd love that if we had a more kind of holistic thought process. But I think a very personal one for me is being younger, being blonde. I've just had everyone assume I'm a Barbie, or I must love men. I do love men, but it's not my primary focus at work. So I'd love it if people saw more than tits and teeth, which I was joking with the girls earlier. TNT. Because I've had misogyny and discrimination my whole career, and I've had it from 17 years old, and I'm 34 this year, and it is getting better. Mm-hmm. But it's still a problem pretty much everywhere I go. Yeah. So actually, let's also humanize how we look and view women, because there are mothers, sisters, grandmothers.
Exactly.
We're a parent just like men are a parent. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life probably preaching this and letting every man know.
Thank you. Babette, did you want to add something? Or
the wish for the future.
Yeah.
And well, I wish, since I've been like in these organizations since a lot of years, and what I can see is that often our associations of the different departments still at the end can't work together in some way, because there's some little tiny discussions or some big issues and we need to communicate about this. But I think only the wish is to get strong together, to show the politics that there's an urgent need now. It's really, I said at the meeting of the foundation of Infilm, I said it's 12:15. It's not 12:55. It's already, the train is already running, but I think we can still manage to show the politics are the ones that will decide at the end if there's a way for people getting more easier and getting payments, because we cannot pay the people doing schools. At the end of the day, it has to be some kind of like, when you become a carpenter, you also have like, there's rules how many money you get and what company is doing this job, and this is the vision. So the wish would be that we could work more together and network and find one voice.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm just, thank you. Thank you.